How easy is it to go from playing strictly corner to nickel like you've done, or what's the challenge of doing that in the middle of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just knowing, understanding the playbook. I think that I have a good, I know the playbook very well. So like, I know everybody's job. So the transition isn't that hard. It's just like kind of understanding the feel of the game and just like kind of like the run fits and all that I had to get a read on. But I think I'm doing cool.
What has really made this passing defense click? You guys have obviously held that number one spot in the country now for most of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just every week, just being intentional about development. I think we're a very tight knit group. We always make sure to get extra work in whenever we can. Go over film, concepts, just stuff like that. So it's just about every week just trying to get better.
Coach Rule said you had him turn on the lights in the stadium the other night. I mean, is that pretty common? You guys try to get in the stadium?
Yeah. We usually go out there on Thursdays. The few times we had gone, it had been dark out there. Well, I really was like the day was kind of just ending, so it was a little bit of light. But now like it's getting darker, so I just asked them to turn the lights on because like a few weeks ago it was like pitch black and we couldn't see nothing. So.
Coach Roll mentioned you talked to the guys in the locker room about that last drive, like even Michigan State had. How important is that you just set that tone and keep it even when you win, to have that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were doing a pretty good job throughout the course of the game, and I felt like we kind of took our foot off the gas during the last drive, and I think I was disappointed in that with us. Even myself, I feel like we kind of loafed a little bit, and just like weren't as aggressive as we were throughout the course of the game, and I feel like over the course of Nebraska's. What people say is like close games are a difficult thing for us to win, but I think at this team that's not a difficult thing for us to win. I think that we're able to weather the storm and attack those close games. But once you do start to pull away, like you can't be satisfied with just okay we got away with the win. Like it's about dominating even after so you start to pull away. So I think that was the message that I wanted to tell to the team.
And you to speak up like that, or is that a change in the last year or two for you to be that kind of guy?
Yeah, I would say that I've always been a vocal person, just about my opinions and whatever I feel. If I feel something's wrong, I'll speak up about it. If I have something to say, I'll speak up about it. But in terms of, with the team, I think that's something that I've grown into, just making my opinion heard. And I think that, I have the respect of my teammates and I respect my teammates. So I think that everybody knows that it's coming from a loving place, just out of, wanting us to be our best.
What sticks out to you about this Maryland offense and the challenges they are going to present?
Yeah, they're a good team. We're excited to compete with them. They've got some good players, so it's just about focusing on ourselves. At the end of the day, I feel like having a healthy respect for them, but at the end of the day, we know we're confident and comfortable with who we have.
You guys have been home for a long time. I mean, what will be the biggest challenge of just getting out of here and going out somewhere pretty far away?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a new thing for us getting on the road this time. I'm excited for it. I feel like it's a new environment. But at the end of the day, I think that's when you really have to turn to yourselves. Turn to the guy next to you and get the energy from him and get the energy from your teammates because you don't have the fans on your side in an away game.
Hey, Ceyair, when you're talking about moving from outside corner to nickel, closer to the run formation, and you start thinking about run fits and physicality, can you talk about how far that part of your game has come from your USC days?
Yeah, I would definitely say that I've grown in that aspect, physicality and tackling and things like that. The Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Well, I guess USC's in the Big Ten now, but when I was at USC, it was the Pac-12. So I think that they're two different conferences. Just in terms of the style of football, and I think that being at Nebraska has definitely allowed me to grow my physicality, and I think that this playing nickels allows me to display it a little bit.
Are you going to be consulted on the pregame movie?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a group decision. People listen when I say I think that this is a good film. I've heard good things, but it's a group decision always though.
Somebody's got to at least defer you a little bit.
Yeah. I think I've got a little bit of sway in the decision making. Cool. All right. Thank you.